Born the second son of an ailing mother, a queen of some distant land afflicted with the white hives, the marker of Kedareth. This younger brother was born sickly, inheriting his mother's weakened state, scrawny and assailed by illness. This second son, this boy, grew a boiling hatred for his older brother, stronger, healthier, and soon to inherit the crown. So deep was the hatred for his brother, the youngest tried to murder him and claim what should be his, but in the end, by accident, he himself was slain by his brother. But being born of Kedareth's mark, filled with a vengeance so great, the second son returned from death, a vengeful soul, to enact his revenge. The vengeful soul, a young white-haired man impaled with a royal sword, now walks the mirror purgatory in search of his revenge. The goal of the vengeful soul, of his revenge most likely, being the death of his brother, or at least the taking of the crown. How and where this takes place for the vengeful soul within VERMIS 2 is somewhat difficult to pinpoint. Of all the characters I've researched, this one's been the harder to get a better idea on or speculate. Partly I feel as it may tie to VERMIS 1, but also because there are many theories on what happens to the vengeful soul within VERMIS 2. Some that I've seen online suggest the creature known as the Red King is now the vengeful soul manifest. A king who shed their human form with a potent sting that causes white hives in its victims. Another theory suggests the skeleton by the glass of 100 gazers beside the corpse of the pale sun knight is what remains of the ill queen's second-born. Myself, I feel it's something different, though to their credit both these theories hold evidence to suggest they are correct. The sword by the skeleton does bear a resemblance to the one of the vengeful spirit, and the mention of kings, the display of a young face, and white hives connect the Red King quite directly to the vengeful soul. But I feel that there's something important about the fact that this man, this young, hate-filled prince, has in fact returned from death, and not only that, is within the purgatory? Is he an undead being? Or a spectre? Wouldn't he simply just fulfill his revenge by seeking and killing his brother, whom we could assume would be alive at this time? Or has time passed before his resurrection? What and where did he fall? Where was he buried, if at all? Or was his appearance in the purgatory part of Kedareth's plan, less his own? These previous theories may be alternative timelines, an excuse I feel fits better with the Red King theory than the skeleton. However, I personally think that perhaps when the Wayfarer arrives within the cold stairwell leading down into the purgatory's mirror gateway, we may have already seen this vengeance enacted. Upon reaching the empty chamber, the Wayfarer sees a great beast slain on the ground, a brittle bronze sword jutting out of its side. Pulling the blade out of its innards, the Wayfarer sees that the blade is eaten away, black blood spilling out, and a stony scab encircling the entry point of the sword itself. Atop this sage-faced beast sits a stone crown. Upon taking it, the Wayfarer notes how heavy it is. Now, I'm going to pause here because it's only fair to note prior to this, a knight with a half-petrified skull and a fully petrified arm tells the Wayfarer of things below and how to access the mirror world, or at very least that they know how. This petrification is most likely caused by the sage-faced beast's blood, as it seems to have that effect, and its crown of stone suggesting a stone Medusa-like ability or theme. This, meaning the sword within it, and reason for its death, is most likely this knight on the outside. But what if it was the vengeful soul that had slain the sage-faced beast? What if this man-faced, lion-like beast was the kingly brother of the resurrected spirit? His bearded face resembles that of royalty, a lion's body resembles kingly status, and a crown, though stone, is an odd thing for a beast to possess. Heavy is the crown upon the head. Not only that, but the mention of the sage-faced individual is curious, because a sage is the term most often used to describe a profoundly wise person, wisdom and sound judgment, qualities I feel would greatly benefit a king, and earn additional scorn from a hateful brother, as they would only lead to the kingdom's people loving them evermore. Of course, how or why the brother is now this beast is unknown. This certainly falls within fun speculation, but I also feel that you could make an argument that though a bronze sword may not be an opulent royal one, its shape does bear some similarities, damaged or not, to the same one that was within the Vengeful Soul. Again, it is more likely our Knight Prior was the one that slayed the beast, but this beast's existence and the qualities it bears does make me curious. Ultimately, I feel the vengeful spirit is simply bound permanently within this illusion now, and will never have the revenge, as their goal is far, far away, or has long since passed already. This theory is admittedly one of my more outlandish, and I recognize that, but fun to consider, unlike our next poor soul. Another shorter tale to tell, but no less melancholic than those before it. A trusted guard, and, judging by the helmet design, potential cavalry soldier, kneels before the dwindling light of his beloved. Afflicted by some unknown ailment, the broken-hearted would travel to a mysterious fountain, said to cure all ills in the hopes to cure her. His quest, against all odds surprisingly, was successful, and the foretold fountain water was obtained. But by the time he had returned, it was too late. The devastating passing of his beloved drove him mad. It is no surprise, then, that we find evidence of the broken-hearted at a fountain within the purgatory. The Whispering Fountain stands before the wayfarer, its calming stream of water a relaxing respite from all they have endured so far. Sinking into the dark nectar of the water, they notice the shine of an object at the bottom of this deep fountain. Diving towards it, the wayfarer is grabbed by a grey hand. A woman submerged beneath holds him down and asks him the great question: "To whom does thy flesh belong?" Struggling to breathe, the wayfarer manages to break free and reach the surface, only to face the black water devourer, a shape-shifting beast. It is this same beast, I wonder, that was the cause of the broken-hearted's end. As with the striking down of the serpent, the wayfarer retrieves the shining thing, an amulet, worn once by the broken heart. This amulet is the last hope, able to cure any ailment and emit a blinding flash of powerful light, the same light we see upon the wayfarer facing the staff-wielding lich later on. It feels to me as though, crippled by madness, the broken-hearted found his way into the mirror and was faced with his trial of illusions. The same fountain, or a twisted reflection, his beloved below its surface, all tricks that brought his demise in the end. Cruelest of all, this black water fountain does indeed cure, as the wayfarer loses his entire arm in the fight with the serpent, but upon fully submerging and re-emerging from its waters, leaving the mirror used to find the fountain, his arm is returned, good as new. The story of the broken heart seems interesting as well, for a variety of reasons, as it says less suggesting metaphor and more literally, that his beloved's light was dwindling, this meaning her life force, but also her light. I believe a light or magical illumination I feel she could produce or wield. Some sort of goddess or magical being, her gifts to him, an amulet of hope that can cure any ailment and produce light, and a ring of warmth, all suggest purity and healing magics, powers beyond the scope of mere mortals. Honestly, of all the backstories these characters have, it is the broken-hearted that holds the most positivity within the world of VERMIS. A story, though sad in its end, of love and healing. Rare, but breakable. Like a mirror struck. And there you have it, guys. VERMIS 2. Thank you so much for following along, humoring the theories, and adding your own thoughts and stuff. This won't be the last Plastibu vid by a long shot. I still have VERMIS 1 to go through. But I feel content with what I've done for VERMIS 2 for now. And if there's anything to take away from VERMIS 2, it's that a willingness to see other perspectives, the strength of seeking introspection, and allowing yourself to accept your own wrongs can help you move on, or at the very least, continue to move forward. That your flesh is your flesh. Thanks for listening, guys. I've been Haunted Picnic, and I'll see you all next time.